And welcome to another episode of Expert Speak. I'm Michael DeLon, and today I am here talking with Kia Arian. And well, Kia, thanks, by the way, thanks for squeezing me into your schedule that we can have a short conversation. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, pleasure to be here. Glad to be here with you.
It's going to be a fun conversation because we have a lot of things in common, and the least of which is marketing and helping business owners grow. So, but that's kind of what we're going to be talking about. So Kia is the owner of Zine, and I'm just going to let you tell them, because I was getting ready to say, well, here's what she does. But oh my goodness, when you go to the website and you see all of the things they do to help build credibility and status and brand and really position business owners uniquely, I would do it no justice at all. So she's going to tell you a little bit about her company, and and you'll understand pretty quickly why I invited her on to Expert Speak, because she and I speaketh the same language in lots of ways and doeth the same thing. I don't know why I'm speaking in King James, but that's okay. Kia, tell us, I mean, how did you get to do what you do, and explain all of that? And then we'll just dive in and see how we can help some people.
Thanks so much, Michael. I'm glad to be here and talking to your audience. And you're right, we have a lot in common. And one of the things that we do have in common is we really want people to succeed. And we want people to, like, you and I share the same value, and that everybody has this great value. Everybody has purpose. Everybody has something about them that the world needs. And so doing the things we do, we help them to bring that out in a book, in a message, in the marketing, whatever they do, so that they can make that impact. And that really undergirds why I do what I do. And so you asked me how I got to where I was.
Yeah, I want to know that story.
So, I didn't get into this, right? We sort of, as a designer or design agency or marketing and branding, I got out of college wanting to make sure I had a job that paid the bills. And so I got into computers. I knew I was going to get a job, and I did. I actually got a really great job with the Hubble telescope. Wow. Yeah, it was really fun. Amazing place to work, amazing co-workers and type of work you're doing. And the campus was beautiful. My office was beautiful. I had the latest technology to work with, but I was there for about 10 years. And the last 5 years, I would go into the beautiful Johns Hopkins campus in Baltimore and go into what felt like a prison and come out of the prison.
I can relate.
I know you know exactly what that means. It was golden handcuffs there. And I remember one day I was sitting in this beautiful office that had these picturesque windows. It overlooked grass and a creek, and I could see, animals and birds. It's just amazing place, squirrels running around. And I would look at those squirrels and I'd be jealous of them because they were free and I wasn't. I mean, that was a real feeling that I had. I felt a little silly, but I was like, this is not what I'm meant to do. And so it was in 2004, finally made the leap, quit my job there, and got into graphic design. And that was after I lost this big giant requirements document that I was working on for the Hubble telescope, actually the James Webb telescope, which is out and just recently got launched into orbit. So I was 20 years ago, I started working on that. And I lost my requirements document that I had worked on all day. And I sat and cried in my office. I was like, I can't do this anymore. So right then and there, I changed careers to design, thinking that it would be fun, creative. I could do it from home. And one thing led to another. My husband and I were led to purchase a print shop in Fairfax, Virginia. And that was in 2004. And so since then, which is almost 20 years ago, I'm kind of rounding up a little bit. We reinvented that print shop. So I launched Zine as a design agency, added the marketing aspect to it. And then down the road, we focused only on print marketing, and then reinvented to help our clients with branding and messaging and nurture marketing and lead conversion. So that's where I am today. We have signature programs that really focus on converting leads into raving clients that love you. And so we love what we do and making an impact for people.
I love all of that. The word you just dropped is, and I want to talk about this, is you reinvented, because you and your husband bought a print shop. Now there aren't many business out there, industries out there that are more bland than a print shop. But you didn't just do it, you reinvented it, because I want our audience to understand you can do the same thing. And therein lies one of the, it's not a secret to marketing, but it's a pivot point of marketing. When you can reinvent yourself, show up differently. Talk just a tad about how you reinvented the print shop, and then let's talk about how you help your clients reinvent themselves by showing up differently through branding, through the designs you create. I want to just dive into that. But how did you reinvent? What do you mean by that?
So to me, reinventing starts with a vision, and a vision of what you can have. Now that can either sound like, oh, they're talking about vision. Of course we know about vision, but I don't think people really understand the power of vision. And, or there's like this process, we make it too complicated. I mean, when we started, when we bought the print shop, my husband and I knew nothing about running a business. Zero. If we did, we would have never have done it. But we got in there, and, first thing, we sort of get yourself situated and figure out what you got to do next, and you do the next thing.
Yeah.
But after a while, you realize that you can do something bigger and better. So my vision at that time was, let me bring in design services and market it separately so that I can showcase it. I knew that much.
Yeah.
I knew that I wanted to like make a big deal about our design services. So that was my vision. That was the simple reinvention of a dusty old print shop. And now we're doing design work. It was easy. I mean, it was an easy pivot to make, but it was key to make it. So that was the first reinvention. And then, after that, then we realized we really need to like present a better, cleaner, more upscale. And I had this vision for, at that time, FedEx offices were popping up everywhere, if you remember, or UPS stores. And they were these all-in-one, come and we'll do your printing, we'll do your everything you needed for like small businesses who needed like a ad hoc marketing, right? And so that was my vision, like that I wanted to convert our retail space into a FedEx office, but with more concierge services. Okay. And so that's what we did. And so that was the other reinvention. So I had a very clear picture of what that looked like. And so then after that, we actually moved our space into, we moved from this older shopping center into a new shopping center. That was another reinvention. Well, the funny thing that happened there was that I had discovered direct response marketing.
Yep.
But we had already committed to going to this more expensive retail location. And about like, actually right after we signed the 5-year contract, I was like, oh my gosh, what did I do? I just committed to like $150,000 contract over 5 years, and I don't need retail space. And it was like this crisis for me.
Yeah. And
that's just kind of a teaching point that your journey is going to be filled with like, oh crap, what did I do?
What did I just do? Yeah. All the time.
Yes.
All the time.
But it ended up being a good thing, because we were able to then implement direct response marketing, and we did a reinvention there. Again, just having an idea of, this is where I am, this is where I want to go.
Yep.
And that's where it starts with, is vision.
I love it. Vision. And then the next word that you talked about, and I want to pivot here, and I want to start talking to our audience, right? Because they need the vision. Too many of them are just focused on what they do every day. And we need to lift our eyes. And then you said showcase. And that's a great word, because I think so many times business owners, they're scared, or they don't know how to showcase their wares in a way that is compelling. And I think about walking through the mall whenever we used to do that, right? And you'd walk through the big window, past the big window, and they would showcase dresses or tuxes or whatever. And you'd go, it would catch your eye. And business owners are bland. They just are. Their marketing message is, I call them coffee beans. All right. Coffee beans look the same and they smell the same. That's how most marketers are. you help marketers showcase themselves in a unique way. Let's talk about some things that you do to help people.
That is a terrific observation. And there's so much layers to that we can unpack. There's the idea of showcase, which kind of rhymes with focus, sort of, where when you bring whatever you bring focus to is what you draw in. It's what you attract. It's what you make room for, what you invite in, whatever you focus. So think of showcasing as focusing in on something, whatever that is. And that thing requires a vision, right? So it requires hey, this is what I want to bring focus to. So that's a really important point. The other thing about showcasing is that, like you said, a lot of business owners are afraid to differentiate, and not just so much differentiate. When you differentiate, I see that as narrowing who you're helping, right?
Absolutely.
Focus, what does focus mean? It means you narrow, laser, tight, right? And you are absolutely right. A lot of business owners are afraid to do that because they don't want to lose business. They don't want to say no, especially if they have bills to pay. They don't want to say no to that guy who's, got his credit card in his hand, but he wants something that is not really in your wheelhouse. And then, but you say yes anyway. But, even stepping back, it's not that it's not in their wheelhouse. They go into business like, all right, I'm open for business. Tell me what you want me to do.
Yeah.
And that is the wrong way to approach business. And you know what? You know how I know that? Because I did that.
Yep.
So as a design agency, we said, hey, we'll do whatever. What do you want? You want a logo? We got it. You want a postcard? We got you. You want this? We'll do it. Just let us know what you want. And people would come with all kinds of projects and we would take them on, but we were driving ourselves crazy.
Yeah.
And I liken that to, like, you go into a restaurant and the chef comes to your table. It's like, what you want me to cook for you? You want Chinese? Got it. You want a salad? No problem. You want a grill? No, never. You go to a restaurant and give you a menu. You pick from the menu. You're not going to go into a Italian restaurant and order Kung Pao chicken.
Yeah. Seriously.
So focus and showcase is narrowing and being clear about what you do and who you serve.
What you do and who you serve. I love that, because I tell people all the time, Kia, that business owners or clients are going to choose to work with you more because of who you are than what you do. And there's really no better way to showcase who you are than through powerful, dare we say, direct response marketing, right? It could be a book, it could be a podcast, it could be a video, it could be a magazine, it could be all kinds of things, but it comes down to showcasing you. What is it about you, your background, your story that I resonate with that makes me know, like, and trust you, right? It's revealing yourself in a different way and realizing, I mean, the things that you do when people go to your website, I mean, the first thing that came to my mind, shoot me, I don't, is like Oprah. I mean, when you think of Oprah, I mean, she's got her magazine, she got her TV. She definitely showcases herself, right? Everybody knows Oprah. Well, why don't you be the financial planner in your little town who has the Oprah effect? Because you've positioned yourself, you showcase yourself in a classy way, and you share stories of people you've helped. Am I on the right track?
Absolutely. I mean, you're hitting on sort of that advanced level of marketing. So now that you've identified who you're helping and what you do, like who you're helping, what you're doing to help them. So, a lot of business owners, they're not really sure. And we said that they kind of operate out of fear, which is important. I'm going to come back to that. They operate out of fear of losing customers or wanting to, get as much as they can, right? And that is not the right approach. So after you've identified that, now it's positioning yourself as the one to do that, right? So there's first figure out where you want to sit, right? Like figure out what market you want to sit in and what you want to stand for. Now, when you go and sit, don't just be all sloppy showing up, with a cigarette in your mouth, and like show up.
Yeah.
Show up as the one. Show up with a magazine. Show up with a book. Show up with like multiple media. Show up with personality bigger than life. And people are afraid to do that. They're afraid to show their personality. They're afraid to take on present their values, present who they are, for fear of whatever, looking stupid, fear of it doesn't attract people.
Yeah. Well, and the thing I love about what you do, and I want to keep getting down to the magazine. You gotta find, what's your name for it?
Power zine.
The Power Zine. I love that. Okay, because in business, here's the deal. Here's the dance that we do. I'm going to reach out to you and try to get you on a call, so that on that call we can kind of build some relationship and see if we got some common ground, so that I can see if maybe there's a way I can help you. And I'm like, stop that. Why don't you do all of that before you ever talk to the person? Send them a Power Zine, send them your book, send them videos, so that when we get on the call, it's like, okay, Kia, we're going to dive into your business. How can I help you? Because by the time you get on the call, you should already know if I'm the type of person you like and trust, and might have something, right? Is that
You see, you just keep, if people just did that, that they could like totally transform their business. That is such a key strategy that people just don't think to do. And that's, so one of our signature programs is a shock and awe program that we create, help you create a shock and awe, a very intentional box, a shock and awe, that it's not just a box of junk. That's what most shock and awe boxes are. It's just, you just throw a bunch of stuff in there.
throw my pen in there and my squeezy ball? Yeah.
No, just don't put a squeezy ball in there. But we're very intentional, very strategic about it. Same with a Power Zine. It's not just a magazine full of like articles, boring canned articles. It's strategic. There's a purpose for it. So when you do that, when you send them even just a magazine or your shock and awe box or your book before the call, that just speaks on so many levels of positioning you. And it's made such a difference for my own business and my clients.
Yeah. So this is blasphemy, I'm sure, because most people say, Kia, okay, yeah, can we have a call? Yeah. Oh, I'm available this afternoon. How about tomorrow? How about the next day? How about I'm not available for 2 weeks, because I've got a system that as soon as you book the call, you get my Power Zine in the mail. And then 3 days later, you get a signed copy of my book. And 3 days later, by the time it gets to our call, if you show up on that call, it's a done deal.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right about that. It's, so I call it choreographing your conversion process. That's just strategy. Don't just be sloppy about it and get on the call right away. And people are hesitant. That's another fear-based decision. If I don't take the call right away, they're gonna leave. They're gonna, you know leave. What? Sometimes like some people who are that's not who you want, because now you're training them to be immediately available
and who's in control? They are.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I don't like it when my client's in control.
And and here's an objection that I hear to that, and here's my answer to that. They say, it is a control. Who's in control? But it's not like, it's positioning yourself as the authority. Totally. They come to you and you're giving them confidence that you know what you're doing.
Yes.
And that you are leading them through this process, and you got your act together on it. So you're communicating that, and you're communicating that you value them.
Yeah.
So even though you're making an appointment with them 2 weeks later, but you're sending them this amazing, box or magazine or book and a note in it, that shows that you value them. And if you have touches in between, you're respecting their time.
That's right.
And so and every single call that I get on with my prospects, because I have choreographed that process, they feel respected and they feel valued and they feel confident that they're in good hands. And that's the result you get. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's so easy to do I love choreographing your conversion process. If that's not trademark, you should do that, because I'm going to trademark it when we're done. No, that's a great phrase, because that's what you need to do. And so many times business owners don't ever think about it. And they focus so much time on their products or their services versus, I want you to know me, my character. You got on this call, this Zoom call, and because of the way I've choreographed my appointment reminder system, you kind of knew who I was. Right. And we've never talked before. I love that. I do that on purpose, by the way. And I teach clients to do it. It's exactly what you're talking about, because I mean, you and I bonded really quickly within the first minute or two. And the rest has been just lots of fun, right? That's how you can do your selling. Okay. My selling process, Kia, is a conversation with somebody, usually about 25 minutes. And my closing question, are you ready for it? Kia, what would you like to do? Because by then we both know if this is the right next step for you or not. And then your answer is usually, well, what do I need to do to get started? It's like, all right, let's go. I don't want to be a salesperson. I want to be a guide. And when you set yourself up properly, when you focus that spotlight properly, when you showcase the right things that your audience is interested in, they're going to be attracted to you. And that's what you help people do. So talk a little bit about what do you do? Tell them, the name of your company is really cool. Zine Graphics, right?
Zine Graphics. So we started out as Zine Graphics and Web back in the 2000.
Back in the day.
Yeah. Then I quickly realized that after 2 years, I do not want to be in the web space, the online
Amen.
space, because it was getting so saturated, and it was just too diluted. I just wanted to focus on print.
That's good.
So we changed to Zine Graphics and print. And then when I realized that, I can help clients make a really beautiful, amazing looking piece of marketing, whatever that may be. But if their message is off, if they don't have a marketing process,
thank you,
they don't know how to use it in an integrated strategy, the thing is as good as a on your shelf. The picture,
thank you.
Nothing, yep. Right? So then we started to incorporate marketing into it, and that's when I dropped the graphics and print, honestly, and just call ourselves Zine. I know it sounds a little like esoteric, like what? Zine, just talk to me. I'll tell you more what I do. So,
that's right. Yeah.
So that's what we are now marketing and branding, and specifically focusing on the signature products and services that we've known in the past 20 years help. Like, they're proven approaches that get results. And that's what we focus on.
Yeah. And I look right at the top of the website, results-driven marketing, beautifully designed. Now, think about this, because business owners do exactly what you said they do. They go out and they buy, I need Facebook ads, so I'm going to buy Facebook ads, or I'm going to do webinars, and they're all good. They all work when done properly, but they have no strategy. That's why we teach strategy. But the beautiful thing about what you're helping business owners do, because you're focused, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're focused on direct mail or print.
Right.
And when you send print through the mail, your competitors don't know it exists, right? But when you're on Facebook ads, all your competitors are seeing all your Facebook ads, right? And so you get to market, as Dan Kennedy would say, in a vacuum, because you're showing up differently. I assure you, your competitors don't have a shock and awe package. I call mine my welcome and wow kit. But nobody does that. Nobody sends a magazine. Nobody sends a print newsletter. Come on, girl. A monthly print newsletter? You've got to be kidding. I do one, by the way. I tell people to do one because it's a great way to showcase myself and my family and my business, and nobody else is doing it. This is not rocket science. You help people do this, right?
That's right. That's right. We call it making a connection and inspiring action. And you show up like no one else is showing up. There is so much value to print that people have forgotten about. Like, to me, it's like the pendulum swung to the whole online world.
Yeah.
And then they sort of forgot about the value of print, but now mailboxes are empty because all your bills are online. All your, nobody's sending anything anymore. So now when something unique shows up, it's got wow factor, it's got staying power, it's got, perceived value in what you pointed to. It's got their attention. They don't have a delete, they don't have a spam, they don't have a gateway, like whoever's saying this is spam. So much value and there's this tactile quality to it that when you touch something physically, like it has this whole effect on all your senses. Even smell. My son, I bought him the Narnia book series the other day, beautiful book series, like illustrated color. He opens it up and he's like,
smell. Yes. No, there's nothing like
yes.
touching. Yeah. And the other thing it does is, especially when you've got a power zine, it stays around a lot longer. It becomes a topic of conversation when neighbors come by or whatever. It's like, oh, what's that? And so you become a household name when you do it properly. And there's so much power to putting a physical piece in somebody's hand. And yeah, I love direct mail because right now there's nothing in my mailbox, 2 or 3 pieces of junk. But when I get something in the mail, it's like, oh, it's an experience, right? And it's really cool. It takes you in the mind of your audience to a whole new level. And then when you match that with your video presentations, with your podcast, with your online, with your sales presentation should be choreographed. It should connect with what the magazine has shown you, right? It all comes together. And here's the challenge, I think, is business owners are great at what they do. They've not been schooled in marketing, and they hear what you're saying, Kia, and the mountain is growing taller and taller every moment. Help them get rid of that. You have a ski lift that takes them to the top of the mountain. Talk to us about your ski lift.
You're right. And that's one of the things that, as entrepreneurs, business owners who are scaling our business, we always have to fight the battle of overwhelm, right?
Yeah.
And let me just start here at the foundation. Just stop saying you're overwhelmed, for one. like just don't let that even come in. It's if you start to feel like, you can feel overwhelmed, but if you start to say, I'm overwhelmed, I'm so busy, I've got so much, that's what you're going to get. So let's just not even say that your life is a life of, let's not characterize our lives that way, but look at it as opportunities, right? So then when we look at it as a opportunity, then it changes the whole focus. So, okay. So to your question, where do we start? Let me give you this one place to start that helps sort of focus on what should I even do with all these different marketing things that are out there. My biggest advice to businesses who want to scale, want to grow, who want more clients, more profits, more conversions, is look in your own house. So who's your house? It's your own list, your own current clients, people who are already referring to you. Start there. My experience is like 80%, that's conservative, of people keep looking outside of what is already bringing them business, because they keep thinking they have to get the new. Just look into what your current list of people, what can you do to re-engage them? What can you do to connect with them? Sell more to them? Like 90 days, just focus on them, and I guarantee you will find opportunities. And sometimes, and often that leads to, can I email them more? Can I send them something in the mail? Can I send them a newsletter? And that's really all it takes, is just one piece of direct mail, email, phone call. Hopefully that narrows sort of where to start and how to start.
That's awesome. You don't know this because you haven't hung around me, but I have a whole strategy around breathing life into what I call your dormant database. Exactly what you just said, because there's money in them Lar Hills, and it may come from them, or it may come from somebody they have a conversation with, right? But it's being top of mind. And I mean, what better way to reach out to somebody and say, hey, would you like a copy of my new magazine? Did you know I'm going to mail a copy out to you? Just reply to this email, tell me where to send it, or I'll send it out. What a great way to go. You got a magazine?
Yeah. And and the other thing to that is it doesn't cost you any extra money. It might cost you to get a new lead or a new customer.
That's right.
Go into your own dormant databases. You said you've already paid for those, whatever way you paid for them. So that's going to be the best way.
Well, it's obvious, Kia, why you're here, because you speak my language. You and I are just two peas in a pod, really. We come from the same background when it comes to marketing and credibility, and how do we show up? How do we, I'm reading a book right now. I just started this week, called 0 to 1. Okay. Written by the guy who launched PayPal and about 18 other businesses. But one of the lines he said in there says, if you're trying to grow your business, don't follow what others have done, and don't go where all the competition is, because it's hard and your profits are going to be small. He's like, reinvent, create a new something. And he shares with lots of stories of different things of how, PayPal was a new something. Facebook was a new something. Amazon was a new. That's where you dominate, right? Why is Oprah so popular? Well, because she was a new something back in the day, right? Everybody has that. It's latent within them. It's dormant inside of you. And business owners need somebody like you, Kia, to talk with them and to pull out from them this unique story that then you can say, great, now here's the strategy that's different from everybody else. You keep doing what you do all day, every day. We're just going to showcase you in a very unique way. Kia and her team can help you do that. And then bring to bear the Power Zine and the direct mail and the ways that you can show up and reach your prospects, your clients, your referral sources, your centers of influence like nobody else. I'm really super stoked, Kia, that our paths have crossed, because what you do is so cool. It aligns with what I teach and what I do, but it's different because I don't do Power Zines, and but I think it's a great idea. So how do people reach out to you? Where do they find you online? And then what would be their next step? Just hit your website or book a call? What do they do?
That's awesome. And that was such a perfect description of exactly what you and I do and what it's all about. And I love that you say it that way. There's something you do that is different, and identify it and then present it in whatever way that is the best way to present it, whether it's a Power Zine, whether it's a book, website, whatever it is, podcast. That's what lights us up, and that's what makes us who we are. So love that you said that. I would love to connect with anybody who wants to connect with me. There's a couple of ways they can do that. If they just want to sort of, casually be acquainted, you can sign up for our newsletter. I send a print newsletter, obviously, and emails and anything else special that we want to stay in contact. So just come on into my circle, and would love to stay connected with you. If you want to do a deeper dive and want to connect with me, I do what's called a vision discovery call. And that's a 30-minute call. It's no charge. And I just want to kind of get to know you, see what your vision is, and help draw out the things that make you different and that you want to accomplish, and see what the best way it is to accomplish that. And they can just go on my website. So go on my website at zinegraphics.com. There's a contact form right there to sign up for the newsletter, or just go on the bottom and just fill out that contact form, request a vision discovery, and we'll get you set up. And for people who do schedule a call, they'll get our shock and awe box.
Oh, that's awesome. That would be worth scheduling a call just to get that. So Zine Graphics, Z-I-N-E, zinegraphics.com. And you can reach out to her and have a conversation with Kia, because we've just scratched the surface, but she understands brand strategy and communication and messaging, and helping you show up like nobody else does, to really help you make an impact so that you'll be able to gain clients and get referrals, grow revenue, and do it in a really fun way that will last. So Kia, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Michael. I appreciate you.
Well, you're welcome. It's been fun. It's been a great conversation, and I'm sure our paths are going to cross some more in the future. So thanks so much for being part of Expert Speak. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later.